Remembering that conditions don't stop just because something is happening within our group. To have a quick discussion on a topic that I think can be really important. It's funny how quickly we might forget this on the water sometimes, just because, we're taking care of someone or something's happening and we're busy thinking about how to take care of that situation. Whatever conditions we're in, that's just going to continue. So we always have to be vigilant. You know how oftentimes while you're driving, you'll get stuck in traffic and you'll think, what's going on up ahead? And it turns out people are just simply slowing down to look at something. Nothing actually happened, but they still slow down to look. And that's something that happens within groups, especially when we're paddling. Let's say someone capsizes in the group. A lot of times other paddlers around will stop everything and simply watch. A lot of times it's just out of concern for a buddy, or you just want to make sure everything's okay. We go from being active to being passive and simply watching the rescue. And then we often forget what's happening around us. So this discussion is to reinforce the importance of everybody within the group to always pay attention to what conditions are doing. In an earlier video, I talk about delegating responsibilities while paddling in a group. And the idea of that is similar to this, is you can't be everywhere at once. So let's say you're the group leader or you happen to be the person that's going to be performing a rescue. It's hard for you to also be on top of everything that's happening within the group and outside as well. So for example, let's say someone is helping with a rescue, someone else can then take care of the rest of the group, pull them over to a safe place, and simply be ready to help if the person performing the rescue needs it. But the idea is to stay out of the way and be vigilant of other things that maybe the person performing the rescue is not aware of. So I'll give you another example. Years ago, I was down in South Carolina for a week of training, and we were out by the jetty in Charleston Harbor. We were playing in a really fun tide race, and at one point I capsized and I came out of my boat, so someone else went to do a rescue. Now the waves were actually pushing us onto the jetty. So what happened is a third person that was being vigilant then came in, told us about it, clipped on to the person performing the rescue on me. So the paddler performing the rescue was able to focus only on me, while the other person towing us was just making sure to keep us out of trouble. I'll give you another example. Another time we were training and we were simulating a heart attack on the water. So another paddler was taking care of the disabled paddler. I hooked onto both of them and I towed them back to shore. Once we got to shore, the rest of the group went into action. Someone started performing CPR right away. Another person called 911. A third person had their chart out to make sure we can give directions to 911. Once again, this was a simulation. But as soon as we landed and I saw that the group was taking care of the situation, I then turned my attention back to the group. I did a head count and realized that someone was missing. Our instructor trainer had on purpose told somebody to go and hide while we were doing this rescue. And I found him right away. He was close by. But the idea was to see how long it would take the group to realize that someone was missing. Because in situations like that, it's very, very easy to lose track of either people or the group or just what's going on. So it's very, very good to make sure that everyone is aware of what's happening. You don't just become passive. I'll give you another example. This was a bit more recent. A bunch of us were out surfing and I was testing out my dive housing for my camera. So I was kind of hanging out in the waves, filming people and trying to hold my own without actually watching the waves. Of course, at some point I lost my balance, I capsized and I came right back up. Now, two of my buddies, and this is what we always do, we're all keeping track of each other. They saw that I capsized, so then they rushed over to make sure I was okay. Once I came up, we were all having a laugh, and we didn't realize that, of course, the waves just keep on coming. It was Shannon, Chris, and myself. Luckily, Chris saw the wave coming. He called it out. Shannon and I made sure to look. We saw that it was probably going to be picking up Shannon and moving her around just because of the way she was situated to the wave. So then both Chris and I reacted quickly. We capsized. There was no problem at all. Shannon was able to ride that wave out of the way. Everyone was safe. Nothing happened. But it was a great learning moment for us to remember that just because we are hanging out and making sure we're okay, the situation did not change. The waves don't care at all. They're going to keep on coming. Next time, we know that we're going to not only keep an eye on the situation, but we're also going to orient ourselves to make sure that for the next wave, we can check on each other, but we can still be safe near each other. But actually, I was very proud of how we handled that in an instant. Chris called it out. The two of us knew exactly what to do. We both capsized. Shannon went right by. Nothing happened. We came right back up. And then we got to talk about it and discuss how we would avoid that in the future. So the idea is simply to always be on the lookout to know what can happen next. If someone within your group is doing something or there's a capsize, just don't be a spectator, be involved. But stay out of the way if someone is doing a rescue. Having too many people and having people giving their opinion at the same time, it just makes for things to be very messy. One person should be addressing the problem, but then on the periphery, you can always be of help if help is needed. So if you'd like to share any situations that are similar or any other things you've learned along the way, I'd love to hear about it. Please drop a comment. Subscribe if you like. I'm always trying to put these videos out. And as always, look over at Kayak Hipster. See you next time.